At saka yung taxes on production and imports and taxes on income and wealth. Pero dito, ang sinasabi ko lang po, yung 12% VAT sa electricity. At ano naman po ang correlation niya sa export ng ating bansa. Lumilito po, mayroong positive correlation. Ang ibig sabihin po, pag na-reduce pala yung VAT, ang piniglalaban ko lang po, initially po ay sa elektrisidad lang. At kung sakali naman ay may baba pa rin natin sa iba-ibang mga sektor, ang una po palang makikinabang dito ay mabuboost natin yung foreign direct investment. Siguro napakarami ang pupuntang investor sa atin. At pati manufacturing sector, na ngayon po ay lethargic. Alam naman po natin. Ang ating economy po, Mr. President, is a consumption-driven economy. Kapag ang manufacturing po inapasigla natin, baka yung pong pinapangarap nating 7.5% to hit the GDP target of 30 trillion, baka po maging times 3 pa yun. Dadami po yung negosyo na pupunta sa ating bansa. Yung mga negosyong maliliit, bababa ang production cost. May kinalaman po kasi yun, Mr. President, doon sa declared policy po ng batas. Halimbawa po yung Section 2, Paragraph C ng IPIRA, sabi niya to ensure transparent and reasonable prices of electricity in a regime of free and fair competition and full public accountability in order to achieve greater operational and economic efficiency, to enhance the productivity of the competitiveness of Philippine products in the global market. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? It promises the competitiveness of our Philippine products. So, lalaki po ang export talaga eh. The economic efficiency. Sinasabi po talaga eh. Ito yung declared policy ng batas eh. Kung sakali po na pag-isipan natin, halimbawa, nandiyan naman ang DepEd. Bakit po hindi natin aralin na kapag binaba pala natin, umpisan lang natin ang elektrisidad, dahil po, yung IPIRA, tingnan po natin ang kanyang original version. Wala pong VAT eh. Bakit po walang VAT, Mr. President? Kasi nakalagay doon, affordable, reasonable, competitive. Pagka nilagyan po ninyo ng VAT, tataliwas po yun doon sa ginapangarap ng batas. Magiging mataas ang presyo niya. So, Mr. President, kailangan po natin sundan yung layunin ng batas. Affordable, competitive, reasonable, fair. Ayun po yung sinasabi. Sa Tagalog po, mura. Kaya ko po naimungkahe na Secretary Recto, tanggalin natin yung 12% VAT sa sale ng electricity. At tingnan po natin kung anong magiging epekto nun. Sa akin palagay po, because I found correlation between reduced taxes at doon sa paglaki po ng gross value added ng manufacturing. Ang manufacturing po ang kailangan nating pasiglahin. Ito po from several decades now, ito po yung lethargic, ito po yung dormant, ito po yung nasa doldrums talaga. At kung ito po ay mapasigla natin, marami pong trabaho makikreate, marami negosyong tatayo. And we will arm our people with increased purchasing power. Lalaki po yung kanilang personal disposable income. Marami silang mabibili. Lalaki po ang sales ng lahat ng mga gustong magtinda. And this is understandable. Why don't we look at this scenario, Mr. President?
Mr. President, ang estimate na mawawala sa collection natin is about 45 billion pesos. Pero naiintindihan ko po yung punto ng ating kasamahan si Senator Marcoleta na pwede naman ho ito ipalit dahil mumura yung kuryente, dadami yung industriya. Pag dumami yung industriya, dadami yung trabaho, maraming magbabayad ng income tax.
Yes, Mr. President. baka ang mangyari, mapapalitan naman ng 450 billion pesos. So nawalan kayo ng 45 billion pesos, nadagdagan tayo ng 450 billion pesos.
Ito ho kasi magkakaroon ho ng impact sa ating collection dahil ngayon meron na ho tayong deficit of about 1.6 trillion pesos. So, in other words ho, kung mababawasan po yung kita ng gobyerno ng 45 billion, tataas ho ang ating deficit.
Ganito po kasi, doon sa isang mungkahi namin, tatanggalin natin ang ayuda, 194 billion ang aalisin natin, isa-subsidize natin yung gumagasa ng 200 kilowatt hours. 90 billion lamang po yun, estimate. So nakatipid na po tayo ron ng halos 120 billion pesos. Depende lamang po sa diskarte natin eh. Siguro po, kailangan lang nating pag-aralan.
Pag-aralan, pag-aralan. Nakukuha ko po yung punto at talagang, to be honest, Senator Marcoleta, marami talagang mga industriya dumadaing sa mahal po ng ating kuryente. In fact, madalas nga ho, sa mga negosyanteng kausap po, ang mukhang bibig nila parang nagtatrabaho sila para sa Meralco, hindi ho sa kanila dahil nga puro kuryente yung binabayad nila. Pero dapat ho balansehin rin sa koleksyon dahil marami rin pangangailangan ang gobyerno. So, dito po ang DOF, pag-aaralan nila itong konsepto na ito. Yung dalawang konsepto na ibinigay nyo po, yung alisin yung 12% VAT on buong electricity chain at pangalawa po yung tanggalin yung imbes na magbigay ng ayuda, ipasok nilang o ibigay nilang doon po sa lifeline rate.
Tama po, kasi po yung lifeline rate natin ngayon, Mr. President, ang 100% na libre lang, 20 kilowatt hours. So, gagawin lang natin 200.
Gawin 200. Ang average consumption ng ordinaryong pamilya is 200 po eh.
Opo.
200. So, pag-aralan ho ng pag-aaralan po kung yan po ay...
Ang isa pa pong example, Mr. President, tingnan po niyo ating cement industry. 70% po ng kanyang production cost, elektrisidad. Kaya po nakakaawa po yung estado ng ating cement industry. Hindi po sila pwedeng mag-compete, lalo na sa Vietnam. Kaya ngayon po nagagalit na po yung ibang mas mura po talaga yung Vietnam eh. Alam po niyo, Mr. President, yung sinasabi ko po kaninang correlation, nakakuha po ako ng time series from 2000 to 2024. Kaya 24 years po pinag-uusapan natin dito eh. Hinahanapan ko po ng correlation ang gross value added ng manufacturing, yung taxes, at saka yung exports. Ibibigay ko po sa inyo ito para maaari po niyong tingnan, maaaring nagkamali po ako, kung ako po yung nagkamali, ay gusto ko naman pong i-correct ninyo ako ngayon. Kung meron naman pong konting may tutulong, baka sakali po, sapagkat ito po ay halos 25 years po na time series po ito.
Maganda po yan dahil as a basic concept talagang yan po ang daing ng mga negosyante ho natin. Mahal po ang presyo ng kuryente ho sa atin. Kaya maraming salamat, Senator Marcoleta, at nag-iisip po kayo ng mga paraan para mapababa po yung presyo ng kuryente ho natin. Yan rin po yung yan din po yung aking pakay nung tayo po Chairman ng Energy Committee, mapababa yung presyo ng kuryente.
May we know from the distinguished gentleman from Tarlac, Senator Marcoleta, if he will be continuing, will there be a second round, or you were about to terminate your interpellation?
Tapos na po ako, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Marcoleta. Maraming
Because
salamat.
with great sorrow, we would like to inform everyone that our beloved colleague, mentor, friend, Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile has joined our creator this afternoon, just a few minutes ago. So, well, he has decided, he has dedicated his whole life, even until his last days, to public service, and we will remember him for his formidable intellect and compassion to the people, especially the employees of the Senate. So as we mourn his passing, we find comfort in knowing that the legacy of Manong Johnny will always live on, etched within the walls of this institution that he loved, and his service to the nation will be forever etched in the hearts of many Filipino. And Majority Leader, what is the tradition?
Mr. President, I also wish to express my sincere condolences to the Enrile family. I had the opportunity to be his majority floor leader in the 14th Congress. And so we could never forget his tireless efforts to always keep the image of the Senate at the level of statesmen and women. And we learned so much from the good gentleman from Cagayan. As a matter of fact, when he would speak to us, Mr. President, we were always at awe with his legal mind and this vast experience and knowledge of law and most of the statutes that we would be discussing on the floor. As a matter of fact, I could fondly remember him saying that whenever we discussed an old law, sabi niya, alam ko yun kasi I was a co-author of that law in 1970s or 60s. So, ganun ang stock knowledge, Mr. President. Mr. President, the traditions, historical tradition of the Senate is if our colleague passes away, particularly this time it's a former Senate President, we usually adjourn session and then resume the following day to give honor to our colleague who led the Senate for many years and well loved by our staff and members of the Secretariat. So that's the tradition, Mr. President.
Yes, will it be acceptable to our colleagues if instead of an adjournment, we will be suspending the session until Monday instead of an adjournment? Because if we do so, then the continuation of the
Yes.
budget deliberations might,
That would be
Might be
my
hampered.
motion, Mr. President, just to suspend.
I'm sure Manong Johnny, if he were here, would have accepted and agreed.
Knowing him, Mr. President, he probably is here with us today. Because I'm sure one thing that he's fond of in his memories is the memories of being in this August chamber, Mr. President. So, with the permission of the body, and I believe that nobody will object to this, is that we just invite back, before we suspend, that we invite back the different agencies to come back on Monday, 1 p.m.
Yes, the continuation of this, the agencies concerned will be on Monday at 1 p.m.
That's correct,
All
Your
right?
Honor.
Is that, so you are putting it into a
Yes,
motion?
I'm putting it to a motion, Mr. President. I move to suspend session until Monday, November 17, 2025. I so move, Mr.
All right, following tradition, the Senate is hereby,
At 1
the
o'clock, Mr.
session of the session is hereby suspended until 1 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, November 17, 2025.